Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I can do it now.
How do I turn it on and off? Just that.
Yeah.
Screen share.
Yep. So down the bottom, share screen, and then you can just presentation.
All once. Okay. Each of those stuff.
Alrighty.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. Good morning. How are you?
How are you? Yeah. One time no see in person. Morning, Pat. Can see.
Good morning.
Ooh, a little loud there.
Who's here?
Oh. John's over there. That might be Joan. Joanne. How are the kids doing?
Oh my gosh, they're busy. They're very busy. They start school. Well, they need is a preschool, and she'll go back to 29.
Hi.
Okay.
Okay. What do you
Yeah,
need?
I don't know.
Well, let's see.
It's 3 o'clock. Say something. Of what? Can you hear him? Hello?
Yep.
Okay.
Hello.
Hooray.
Yeah, the sound is picking up, but spotty. That's what I would say. It's kind of coming in and out, so you'll probably have to speak loudly in order for it to pick up.
Okay.
Again, I never got one by email, but if people need copies, if they have to go make some,
You need a copy of the letter too?
please. Okay, I'll make a few.
Okay.
I don't know how to use my computer. Just pull up on my computer, but when I just turned it on, it I'm waiting a minute.
I don't know because I messed it up.
Ready to go in a second.
What could I say?
Oh, you. 3 minutes to spare. I'm going to do enough.
Yeah,
I read it, but
exactly what this is. So they turn it on, it's ready to go, and then give you the black screen.
Sometimes they give you a choice, but sometimes they don't. It just doesn't.
It popped up, and I thought I hit like remind me later or tomorrow or whatever, but I must have.
our chef is leaving.
I know. That's strong. Morning, Martina.
Yes, good morning, ladies.
Hi.
Hello. You're not here, Pat?
Pat's here.
I'm here, but I'm at home. We just got back from our trip to Hawaii, and we brought an unwanted souvenir home with us.
Oh no!
Yes, so half of the party has COVID. I tested negative, but in order to be overcautious, I decided to stay out the 5-day quarantine. Yeah. It's better safe than sorry. I'm not really sure why my husband, son, and his wife all brought it home. And well, my daughter and her, her new husband got it in April. So maybe that, but I'm not really sure why I'm glad, but I still want to be cautious. So my husband and I are quarantining each other in other sides of the house, which is interesting. So, but yeah. So poor Steve, he got it.
Oh, is it bad or how does it feel?
No, it's more like a really bad cold with a deep cough. So,
right. Yeah.
So but my son and his wife who have been vaccinated and boosted, it's more like a really, but they've never had it before, like Steve and I have. So it's more like a really bad flu for them. So.
Yeah, my son and his wife also got it, had never had it, vaccinated. Sort of thing.
Hopefully you don't get sick on your vacation.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I can say is it seems like it's really brought the level of what you experience down, right. More like a flu or a cold, right. Which is great. The vaccine does that. That's livable. But yeah, so it's one of those toss-ups. Do you keep doing what you want to do, or but anyway, it was our 40th anniversary celebration. So that's why we decided to do it. And fortunately they got it coming home. So they weren't sick while they were there. Which was good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So thank goodness for technology where I can still do what I need to do.
Yeah, right.
John, we're really having a hard time hearing you for some reason.
Okay, I haven't said anything.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
I was like, I thought you had. So
I was talking to Devin. We were fooled because Will is usually less than quiet. Yeah. Plan on being quiet.
They were having a private conversation.
Pat.
Yes.
I have some real questions about the paragraph relative to affordable housing under the new facilities development. So I'll be asking for input from you on that.
Okay.
If it's factually incorrect,
right.
My daughter tells me it is.
Right.
There she is.
Okay, sorry. Library computer is on the fritz. You're welcome. Oh, I think John's if it has a watermark. Anyone else here? I'll take coffee. Just go at it. 15 minutes about meeting. Oh, I hate that. I was literally trying about it. I was over here. And then
okay, I guess we can follow the meeting to order. Discussion on the minutes of July 13th meeting. Do I hear
Motion to approve.
second? All those in favor say aye or
aye.
Something?
Aye.
Okay. The ayes have it. There was no correspondence. And that brings us directly to the discussion of the report that we started discussion of last time. It was left that I was to redo the paragraph on affordable housing, particularly. And I have a suspicion that I misunderstood just what the definition of affordable housing is. The question is it based on the area median income or the income of the individual person living in the housing?
So affordable is based on the area median income and as well as the average rental price town. So it's the formula is a combination of those two things. So so it's not necessarily, especially for people who are on a more fixed income or a lower income, affordable isn't affordable. That's what I can say about that. So, for example, Wrights Village is now affordable, and you can make affordable income housing, not low income housing. So you can make too little to be able to go into that housing. And we have had people that have not been able to get into Wrights Village because their income is lower than what they figure out in their formulary. So what ends up happening, even if it would be much less than what they pay for a regular apartment, they still would not be eligible for that. The only option in town for low income or low to mediate income is Juniper Hill. That's the only, and Section 8. But again, as we've been seeing, Section 8 is becoming less and less available as rents go up in town. They're not fitting into the formulary for the maximum price that they're allowed by the number of bedrooms. So we have between the affordable income formulary being too high for some people, and the fact that Section 8 is less and less available in town. We have a housing crisis for all ages, for especially low to what I would call moderate income. And many seniors fit in that because they're on a fixed income. They're and as we know, as costs go up, particularly with inflation, that fixed income actually loses its value every year because it never matches inflation. So again, we've actually had people in housing that were in housing, but then the inflationary rate changed that affordable formulary, and they've had to move out, believe it or not, as well as people not being able to move in.
So can I ask you a question about that? So
sure.
I have people I know who live at Wrights Village, and many of them fit into the low income, or they had, they were like Title 19, Medicaid.
Right.
Does that mean that now they are being kicked out because now it's affordable? How does that work?
So it depends on what their income is, because the Title 19 formulary is income plus medical cost to some extent. So not for everybody, but for a number of people, yes. So if they feel you can't, that base rent that they charge, and I don't know what that base rent is right now, but if you fall out of that formulary, unless you can come up with another source of income, which can be problematic, obviously, if someone's on Title 19, to come up with another formulary. I do know of at least one person in the past who was pushed out because when it became affordable housing, their income didn't fit the formulary. So I haven't, I don't know at this point. I have also heard of people who haven't been able to get in it because they were considered like their income was too low. So those people you wouldn't even be aware of because they weren't allowed to move in because their income was too low.
Interesting. Is it still disabled housing as well as elderly disabled?
Yes, and that is part of why that is becoming more and more disabled housing and less senior housing.
I got you.
It's way over 50% now there that are disabled versus senior.
Right.
So I wouldn't call it senior housing anymore because it's not.
Yeah.
Less than a quarter, I believe someone said now.
Yeah.
Less than a quarter.
Right. And again, remember the disabled people are younger, so there's less turnover, and they have a longer period of time where they can wait on a waiting list.
Right.
And older people.
Right.
That's why we need affordable age restricted housing in Mansfield.
Yeah.
That's why we need affordable age restricted housing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can say the model up at Juniper Hill, it does allow, younger people, but because of the model, more seniors are able to be, you know what I mean? So it's a better mix up at Juniper Hill. But there's less of, and again, because it's HUD housing, but it's based on the Section 8 formulary. So it's, it's just a different type of housing. So I know, people hear affordable and it sounds good. And there's some great things about it because there's not affordable housing here in town either. There is a need for it. But, the reality is what we're looking at for seniors is, if possible, more low income housing is what's needed.
Right.
But that's not what's being built.
Is there any chance
No.
That's the
we
thing.
could get you to write a paragraph clarifying low income, affordable income, et cetera, just what you talked about just now?
I can't, it's like, again, it's a complex issue that most people don't understand. They hear affordable and they think low income. And I know that they did push for a higher percentage in the affordable housing of the lower part of the formulary for the housing complex going in across the street. So the numbers but see, affordable housing has to be able to pay for itself. That's the difference. There's not money kicked in. So they have to have some higher income people in it that pay, the higher level of rent to offset the people who are on the lower end of the spectrum. So, it's a formulary where a certain percent have to be at each kind of HUD, or chaff, I can't remember which establish the different levels of that formulary. So,
John, what is your thought behind that? Is it to explain it to whom? If we're sending this out to the town and town council, they should know what we're talking about.
Right. And you can clarify by just saying there's a difference between low income housing and affordable housing.
Yes.
That's what I would say. That there is a real need for low income housing for seniors on a fixed income. Yeah. That's more what you want to say. If we get into the real specifics of it, I mean, they can ask that question at the table, and to tell you the truth, community development is in a better position to answer that because they're the ones who look at those formularies. But
all right, I got a suggestion, John.
Okay.
Instead of putting all this in about medium income, blah, 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 so on and so forth, could we just put down, because of the complex format of formulary, seniors are being forced out and so forth. Don't have to mess with anything dollar signs.
Okay. And then do we want to point them in the direction of low income?
And then
correct.
Yeah.
Low income. And I would use Juniper Hill as an example. I mean, that's a good example of, a HUD development that uses similar to, Section 8. That's pretty much the same. It's same.
And that's the type of money we would need to have a housing complex for affordable age restricted housing, because developers are not going to do that. Developers do not want to touch that in this town.
No, you'd almost need a nonprofit to come forward. Yeah. That's willing to do that. I mean, even the housing authority developments, they're not developing low income housing, they're developing the affordable housing with the formulary. I'm not saying something against the housing authority. There's a need for what they're doing too.
Right.
But what the piece we're missing is low income housing in town.
Yes.
Okay, we have, because of the complex formulary, seniors are being forced out of so-called affordable housing. What the town needs is low-income housing for seniors.
Aren't we going to put in age restricted, or did we not decide not to do that?
Age restricted, not
income age restricted housing.
Housing. That's what. Yeah. That's what seemed.
And you could put in, you know, similar to the Juniper Hill project.
Okay, what do you got, Evan?
I have, because of the complex formulary, seniors are being forced out of affordable housing. There is a need for low income, age restricted housing for seniors on fixed income. Does that sound okay?
Does
And
to me,
so should I get rid of
the rest of that paragraph.
well, can we,
No,
it would help me just to read it through. The first two sentences, the town's recent facilities development study, that sentence is good.
Yeah.
And the next, that first paragraph is fine, correct? But then I'll get rid of affordable housing because I'll find as,
yep,
and all those numbers.
Right. I don't even know that I put in complex formulary. I'd say because of the formulary.
Okay.
That's good.
I think this should say that commission members have shared cases where seniors have left not only Mansfield but out of state because of the cost is too high. Couldn't get out of state. Couldn't even get.
Martina, can I ask a question? Whoopsie, lost you.
Here I am.
No, that's right. What is the highest income somebody can have to live at Juniper Hill? Do you know that?
Yeah, I did know it because I knew someone whose income was too high to live here.
We don't.
If you can call Barbara Karen. She can tell you. She's our administrative assistant.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, just specifically, just in the whole context of this.
Yeah,
you know,
I know when I was helping someone, but they need a different type of housing, which is, I think for seniors, I think we found that kind of housing, I want to say someplace west of here, which meant that person has to leave Mansfield after being here since college days. And now
that's a kind of a problem I have seen too with people who are, I just talked to somebody the other day, and of course their income is a bit higher, but they are, they have one family member, one of the two of the spouse who got dementia, and they are looking at assisted living, but there is nothing like that.
No.
Right. So they will have to go elsewhere, even though, like you say, the ties to the, to the area for 60 years, or 70 years.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Just the way that this reads, because of formulary, I think we need to formulary for what exactly?
It's an income formulary.
Oh, okay.
Is the town's income formulary?
For affordable housing, there is a formulary that relates to both income and the average cost of housing in the area. So
not the town.
No, well, in the town, but they usually do it by regions, but Mansfield might be different just because it's a college town, so the rents are higher.
Yeah.
Hey,
Can I say because of the, I'm sorry.
Because of the area.
Hey,
I would actually just clarify, affordable does not mean low income housing. I mean, I might put that line in.
You could do that. That's a good lead.
Right,
That's a good lead.
I said, tell me if this sounds okay. Because of the formulary for income and average cost of housing in the area, seniors are being forced out of affordable housing. Affordable does not equal low income housing. There is a need for low income age restricted housing for seniors on a fixed income. Commission members have shared anecdotal cases where seniors have left Mansfield because the cost to live there is too high.
And these two cases were people who had been in Mansfield most of their life.
Yeah, I know, like I said, I know of one who moved out of state.
I wouldn't even put in two cases. There are many more than two cases.
Right.
Yeah, I took someone. Well,
I would say multiple examples.
Thank you. Yeah, don't just put two. There's multiple examples. That's why I'm so fired up. There are multiple examples.
Right. I will say the nice thing about what's used for Juniper Hill is assets are only considered as they lead to income. Right. So, you know, you can, let's say, be low income, sell a house and be living, you know, consider the interest of whatever you're getting as part of your income and still qualify, which helps people to remain independent in the community. So we have a number of people that are what you would call house rich and cash poor here in town, that, you know, they depend on the principal either from their the income from their investments, their retirement, or the sale of their house in order to live. So the good thing is in that case, it's not like Title 19 where you have to spend down before you're qualified. You actually can use that as a source of income, which is nice. So unless go ahead.
Unless you, there's a woman who had a situation where she retired from Middlesex Hospital, and they want all of the older people give them a lump sum because they did not want to manage it anymore. And she's in her late 80s, and she got a lump sum. Her rent went up, and then she had to spend down that lump sum to nothing.
Right.
In order for her rent to go back down. But fortunately, she could pay for the higher rent, which so it's tricky.
Right. But what it's considered the income versus an asset. In other words, you don't have to, like, she wouldn't have to move out because that happened. Like in some places, would be what happened. So, you know, it would kick her off Title 19, for example. If that happened.
David, can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, so listen, right from the Juniper Hill Village website, Section 202, Supportive Housing. Funding from HUD Section 202, residency is usually restricted to households earning 50% of the area median income or less with at least one member age 62. Tenants pay rent based on household income. The rent is usually the highest of the following three amounts: either 30% of the adjusted monthly income or 10% of the unadjusted monthly income, or if receiving welfare assistance, the housing cost portion of this assistance. So to the point, it's based on income, not on assets. Correct.
Yeah. And again, that 30%, the great thing about that is they take into consideration other things. Like your costs for utilities, your health insurance, there's a number of things that go into that. So they don't want you to be spending more than 30% on what it costs for you to live.
And right now we're told that if you had to live in the town of Mansfield, you would most probably be paying, I think, $1,570 some odd dollars per month.
Correct.
So that's the number that they used this year to decide what, the formulary for deciding what your income here is going to be based on. What your an apartment is $1,500 in Mansfield to get this kind of apartment.
Right. To get a one-bedroom apartment.
One-bedroom apartment.
$1,500. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where do we stand now?
I haven't made any additional changes to that. Is there any other section that would word or add to?
Myself personally, I think it's good just as it is. Type it up, get it over.
I'm just editing a couple things here, just a couple words that I realized were not just grammar stuff, and then you want me to put in here, we all just read it? and finalize it, or how do you want to go about finalizing it, or should I email it to everybody, or I think it might make sense just to read it through here.
Yeah. I think that we get into freedom of information and all that.
Right. So I think we ought to just take a look at it and finalize it.
Yeah.
Get it over.
Get out.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Let me.
Yeah, but can you print off send it a copier?
Can I print from my computer?
If you email it to me, I can go print it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just have like 1 minute to read it through, because I think there's just like 1 or 2 other little words, and I'll format it.
Yes.
Did you get my email about the PowerPoint presentation? Is it possible, or?
Yeah, it's ready. It's hooked up.
Okay, maybe we could look at that briefly while Devin is.
You got it.
So we had talked about having a PowerPoint to present to the town council, in addition to just sending them a letter and asking for time and agenda. And so I threw together essentially what's in the letter. So just an introductory slide. The next.
It should be. Let me see here. Why is it not?
Where's the slideshow?
I'm trying to get it to come on to share the screen right now.
We see the ceiling.
Yep, I'm aware of that. All right. I'm probably gonna.
I mean, I see the report up.
You do?
Yep, I do.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay.
Yep.
And if everybody can see it, then I think you're ready to go, John. I don't know why it's not showing here. Let me just go grab Jordan.
So most of it is taken directly from the report we just discussed. I did add just a little bit relative to why we're reporting to the town council. That in fact, it's the town council that has asked the Commission on Aging to report to them. So it's their end, not our end, that really is initiating this.
How do we get this thing to do?
Oh, that's what you're saying. Oh, okay.
Is it on the side? I did the share screen. Here's our technical room. In the future, John, all this stuff has to be handled through the administrative assistant, so that can all get, because we can't share the screen because she hosts it. So when you have a PowerPoint in the future, you're just going to send that all along to Kathy with the agenda and the announcement and all that.
And it's no longer your one. Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
I like the graphics.
I do too. Who did that?
If you want to start it from the beginning, is that what we're?
Okay.
See, this is a second one.
So everybody at home can see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So
does that make sense? We can't get it to show on the screens that's showing us, but if you guys can watch it on that screen, I think they can see it, and I can advance them as you go through. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got it. All right, take it away.
Next slide, please.
Okay.
My Vanna hands.
And this just takes the charge out of, just right off our webpage and off the official charge to the Commission on Aging, saying we're supposed to report to the town council. And this was a little bit at the beginning of this, because the population, seniors, is growing percentage-wise. Okay, next. And these are just the three concerns, or actually the next slide is.
Hold on, don't go so quickly. Sorry.
There you go, back.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Good?
Yep, thank you.
Anytime.
And so we had divided this report into aging, community, transportation for seniors, and the senior center. And then under the aging for community, we defined aging in place, aging community. Okay, and this is speaking for the whole committee, but I think that's a reasonable statement.
Absolutely.
And then we did the individual things. You can move right through those because they're basically verbatim from the
House, Glen Ridge.
And
Oops.
now,
There we go.
what's the paragraph again that you have relative to affordable housing?
A moment, sorry. The one that we just edited?
Right.
You want to copy and paste that into the section here?
The next slide down. Yeah, you should have the next slide. So this one.
Yeah.
Is where that would go, I think.
Yeah. Give me 1 second and then we can copy and paste it in.
Oh.
Right, do you have the PowerPoint in your computer?
No.
Where did that PowerPoint?
But I have a jump drive. Sarah has that.
Is that in an email? The PowerPoint?
No.
John emailed it to me. Yep.
Okay.
But if you want to copy it, well,
I can email it to you and
then I'll just copy and paste it.
Yep. Okay. Should I go now and come back, or you want me to wait and then go twice?
Don't go twice. Just wait till the end. I'm finishing these last edits.
Okay.
I'm changing a couple things. For example, we say like a few seniors instead of saying a few seniors, like many seniors. Gotta make it bold rather than a couple here and there. So I'm just editing a couple things, and then we'll put up.
Okay. No, one or two more. We talked about the transportation. And I felt an obligation to put you in there, Will, and Alaskans. We are very grateful.
I appreciate that. But I don't want to be made a martyr. Essentially, well, I ain't going to die, so that's it.
Just the same thing we had on the senior center. And then last slide, we had talked about inviting the town council to the senior center to tour the senior center and also discuss further concerns. Is that true?
That's very good.
I have a question on the vans. Like our vans are down now because of that.
I don't think that's been shared yet. I mean, I can, but what's the question? You want to wait till my update?
Is there like an alternative?
No.
Ask for that.
I missed what? I'm sorry, I missed.
Why don't we finish this topic, and when it comes to the update, we can discuss what's happening with the senior center.
And we can't do anything else here because we're on a special meeting.
Right.
Period. Nothing else. If you want to bring up the bands, that's next one. Thank you.
I will put that on the agenda for September.
Okay. But right now, this is what we're concentrating on today, getting this out and getting it over to the council.
Okay. Anybody have some good stories? We're waiting for Kevin.
Want to leave this up, the presentation, or pull it back to the meeting view? Who got it? All right. I always try to look up at the top. It's not helpful.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Normal. Everybody can hear us again?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Martina.
Martina, I like that cup of
I do too, Martina. I love that cup.
What's that?
I love your cup.
Oh, thank you.
Looks like you get about a quart in here.
That's pretty good. I needed coffee this morning.
All right. Appreciate it. Okay, we're gonna say sincerely. Commission on Aging.
Yeah. Mansfield Commission.
All right, just about finished. Thank you for bearing with me. I'm like a stickler for like the spacing has to be right and this everything has to line up and this all people. So I'm like basically particular with things like that. Oops. I want it to look really clean and
Pat, what should we try for in terms of a meeting of the town council to present this at?
It just needs to go to, it just needs to go to the, a request to the town manager for an update, a Commission on Aging update. That's all. I can send one over to him and ask that you put on the agenda, be put on one of the agendas in September if you want. Does that work for you?
Just for me.
I think the sooner the better. September, I think.
Okay, so I'll ask for one of the meetings in September.
Okay.
And I was kind of thinking it would be nice variety in presentation. If we had 3 people, one to present the senior center, one to present transportation, just so they get a different voice and variety.
I think the more of you that show up, the better. I'll be honest with you. And the truth is, you can. I mean, if they continue this format, you can do it either virtually or in person. In person is great, but if that's not something that will work for someone, you can also go in virtually.
I love it. I love it. Looking right in the eye when you talk.
There are people here. When we were talking about this at our residents meeting, there are people here that said if we want bodies that they would go down to the town hall when we present this.
Absolutely. Anybody?
So.
okay. How can I share this with everybody?
Why don't you send it to Sherry? She'll print it
I
out.
can print it out for the group here. That's the extent of what I would be. Okay. Follow I could email else, right? So they have an election. Yeah.
Yep.
So why don't you email it? Yeah. Go to special. Here.
We agreed that it was good to have maybe 3 people present this. I'd be willing to do one section. Is there anybody else? Who else would be willing to do the section? You want to do transportation or senior center or whatever?
You tell me what I want.
Okay, we have two flexible people. We just need a volunteer to do one of the other sections. Your choice.
It's great to have someone who's real passionate about the housing or passionate about the transportation or passionate about the senior center. Do which one? I know Martina's very passionate about the housing.
I see your lips moving, but I can't hear.
We can't hear you much.
I would love to do the housing.
Okay.
Then, I mean, I'll do transportation. There ain't much to say. That's okay.
Yeah, but
well, that's
okay.
So probably will.
Emailing this out.
So those on remotely, you can check your email.
Just shortly, I just saved it so I knew what I was attaching. You was attaching the right thing.
This may not be appropriate for this, but I think we should invite the town council to use our transportation and see how much fun it is.
I don't know if I want to wish that on anybody.
But they don't understand it. How much of a hassle it is for them.
Yeah, Grace was incapacitated over a year ago now, and I had to use a cabulance. What a nightmare! Get them to the appointment.
I think they should understand that maybe at a later date, but they should understand that it's not easy. Yeah, but then maybe they would volunteer.
Oh no. So I just wanted to add my little reference hyperscript, and I got this is me again.
Well, our next meeting is a non-regular meeting. And so as you have additional things, I've got the put on the discussion of the bands for September, but if you think of any other items that should be brought up in the September meeting, and Pat and Sarah, you have to do your thing again. I hope you enjoyed the summer off from reporting to us.
So under D, other items that should be in the report, we finished that, right?
Right.
Okay, good. All right. And so what was your question? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
If anybody has anything for the agenda for September.
We should probably talk about staffing.
Mm-hmm.
So I can tell you the thing I forgot to put on here was this. Be a little hyperscript one. That's all. So I'll make sure I already have it. That was my little nitpick thing to try.
Affordable does not equal low income housing.
Thank you, John. Yep, I'll add that.
You don't realize this just made my day.
Thank you, sir. I will.
That's the whole problem. You're reading fast.
No, I just can't get down.
I have a comment. have a comment.
Yeah,
Part of, I think I read where it said the commission was established early on or something in the report. Can we put a date in there?
The early on was for me to waffle because I couldn't remember. I think 1974, maybe.
Sounds good.
I can look that up. Yeah, we have it somewhere. I think you're right, though.
If we could put a date in there, that would be good. It seems like 74.
I think so, Martina, but I can check that. I've got it in my office.
Okay, thank you.
Where do you see that?
Where do you see it?
Yeah.
It's in the PowerPoint about when the commission was established. It said early on.
I like this. This is good. Support is not equal to all these.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I changed it. It's changed on it.
Okay.
I think this is good.
Are you comfortable voting on this report?
I am. Yes.
I am. Yep.
Okay.
I make a motion that we accept the report that we are presenting to the town council. Is that all I need to say?
Don't move.
Well, I think we should add that we should send it over to them.
Oh yeah, with the provision of sending it out to each and every town council member and presenting it at a town council meeting. How's that sound?
A future town council.
Future town council meeting.
Okay.
Martina says she makes a motion to accept the letter to send to the town council and address at the next town council meeting.
Okay. The next future. Yeah.
Present our PowerPoint, I guess. Present our PowerPoint at the next town meeting. PowerPoint presentation.
I'll second.
We had pretty good discussion, but one last chance for discussion.
John?
Yes.
I have no factual or informational quibbles, but once it's completely finalized, it does need a final editor's look at it, because there are some glaring mistakes and some less glaring punctuation things that should be fixed before it goes out.
Okay. I think Devin has corrected the vast majority of those, and it's been gone out to an email which you and I haven't been able to get since she sent it out. So when you look at that,
well, she's got the copy right in front of her. Is there something you see in particular that I can fix on the printed out copy that you have?
I haven't gone through the entire report as far as editing.
This one. This is the one we made the corrections on. So this is the fix.
For one thing, age-related should always be hyphenated. It's a double modifier. It should always be hyphenated.
But don't we have to write it the way it is written in most reports, in most
well, if you want to go with the convention and be incorrect, that's fine. I'm only looking at
asking. I know.
Correct. You know, if you want to go with common usage, then that's okay.
I think that's, Pat, isn't that the bureaucracy part? It's not hyphenated. Age-related affordable housing.
Age-related. I don't know that it's hyphenated.
That's just my thought, that's what's out there.
Well, whenever you take two separate words to make a modifier for something else, then it should be hyphenated. But as I say, I yield to common usage.
Okay, but we should be consistent.
I think I only see related in parentheses in that first paragraph after aging in the community, right? This one time I think you see it.
Mm-hmm.
And since it's in parentheses, I think we're using like the verbiage of today.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is there anything else you see?
I do.
Okay. I'm happy. Like I said, if there's another thing, I'm happy to fix it while I have it up here.
Okay. We have a motion that's been made and seconded. There's been some discussion. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. David, I can't see you here. Everyone else?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. That concludes the business acceptable for this meeting. Thank you all for attending.
Now that we're out of the formal part of the meeting, we've stopped recording, correct? I just wanted to let you all know that